Alright guys, today I'm going to show my Thomas Day collection for 2023. Let's get started. Here's the James lesson. This is the original print 2005, but it's a thin case copy. I had this since a long time ago. Also, here's a pen flip. We're not done yet because I have the 2009 licensing reprint. We're still not done yet because I have 2 copies of it. Of the 2009 re-release. This one has the same case. There was an insert on this one, on the other one, but I think I put in something else. Maybe it was, I'm not sure, I might check it soon. Here's Josh Thomas. I did have my first copy of it, but it broke, so I now have this copy. Here's 2 copies of Final Fantasy. Oh, wait, I put them on order. Sorry about that. Here's Thomas Gets Bombed. Hold on, I'm trying to get this thing. Now here, my 2 copies of in. Oh, wait, I forgot the third case. Now here's first X Pledge. Tie this. Not that one yet because I have the 2009 print. Future Eagles West Bus. Still working on this. Future Eagles check. Came out of the licensing print back in October 2011. And here's the hopefully came with it. I mini version of the original print. Here's me now, so don't yeah, because I have the 2009 print. Here's Thomas Special Order. It's a new copy I got. Hugh Sanger Hammond got this back in 2008 when it first came out, I think. Here my 2000. Sorry, this is my first one. I think it's my second copy. I think it was the one I got. This came with a pamphlet. These songs are about. Just a little pamphlet. Something yellow. Got this back in 2015. These songs from the records. I finally have a new DVD copy of it. I think this is a slim case copy. Disc. These funky box. Well, actually, I do have the other copies right here. So I'll start with the first one I got. Now here's my second copy. Here's my third copy. This and that little see thing. And here's the pamphlet came with it. I'll look at my 2 copies. Here's race. Here's the right race. James Thomas. I believe I got this warmer back in 2007 or 06. Here's my 2 copies of just got this back in 2008. Here's the second copy I got. This one's a lot nicer shape. Well, my dad got it for me. This also came with it. Here's Makes Someone Happy. I also got this back in 2008. Here's Tracks iTunes. Here's my stuff, by the way. Here my 2 copies of Best Class. Just the first one. Just in the pamphlet. I'm going to show the pamphlet on this one because I'm not. This one. And not my second copy because it's just going to be the same thing. Also, it might take forever. Well, sort of. And besides, the other pamphlet for my second copy is the same anyways. So here's my second copy. This is the same pamphlet. Here's Better James. Also got this 2008. He's Best of Percy. Guess this is in late 2014 or 15, I believe. At Kohl's, I think. It comes with the sound, the same Soko sound. This is the pen flip. You saw the secret. You saw the secret. I got this back in 2011 or 12, I believe, or probably 2010, probably maybe 2011. Here's this in the CD. This is bad looking with it. This one wasn't never released on Lightspeed for some reason. However, the Alto did kind of sort of. Prestige Clinch. This is the 2005 slim case copy. The edition comes in the pamphlet. And this is Hosanna. And my copy doesn't have the Prestige Clinch, but I like someone else's copy did. These things are blue. I should have 2 copies. Here's my second one. And this one came with the pamphlet. Now here's the price. So here's the just nice print. Oh, nice. And also a Israel print I print inside of it. The file. Thank you for telling. I also put it in some kind of snacks on it. Although some people may not like it, but what? Oh well. Anyways, here's Wesley Gordon. I'm going to show you the last part. This, and here's the little receipt. Well, not receipt. It's the last thing. No, here's the pamphlet. Also shows the last part. Well guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.